If I just turn commenting off, now you can see the whole screen. There is a button there, a question button. You can still ping questions to me and I'll forward them on. And so I think let's try and invite our next guest along, who has been instrumental really in getting this together with the help of lots of people, but as the brainchild behind it. Let's try and see if we can connect with my old mucker, Mr. Ross Geach. He'll probably be in a field somewhere drinking cider, if I know him. Hopefully he's there. And then we'll get to know what Ross is going to do. Hello!
Outside of polytunnel drinking cider.
Oh, you see, true to form. True to form. And I see you wearing your dad's shirt.
Yeah, I know. He lent it to me. Dear of him.
Brilliant. Ross, what an amazing... Oh, sorry.
I'm going to spin the camera around and let Gemma hold it so you can see the whole setup, all right?
Yeah, great. So let's... Hi to Gemma.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi, Gem.
Hi, Steve.
Hi. Well, there it is in your full glory. Ross, let's talk a little bit about where you are, because your family have been there on the farm for generations. So let's have a little backstory.
Yeah, so we're up on the farm. So our family got this farm in the mid-1800s. I'm the sixth generation Geach to work here. I wasn't a farmer. I was into playing out the farm and messing around, but I wasn't into the farming at all, really. So I went chefing, and I worked for Rick Stein for over 10 years, which was Rick and his family. Rick and Jill and the whole family involved have been my main inspiration for what I do now, and now I run a kitchen garden that's grown from a small walled garden to 5 or 6 acres of veggies. And what we've done is we've moved the spot today because of the wind, so the behind us. But just so everyone can see, we'll go and show you the view, but it's a lot windier over there, and you'll understand why we didn't film over there.
Well, let's just do it for the visual.
So you can see the view.
Oh, there's forage.
Yeah, there's Porridge, the Australian Shepherd running around. So how are you, Steve? All right?
Yeah, pretty, mate. What a fantastic day. So how much land have you got there, Ross? And as well as you producing, what else goes on at the farm?
So we've got our own cows, our own pigs, and then we grow a lot of our own feed for the cows and pigs. Basically, we're still an old school farm. It's kind of farming's gone full circle, and people want to have farms like what we have, but we never changed how we were, if that makes sense. Yeah. Very intensive. We've always had a mix of everything, and now that's what everybody wants. So I'm really happy that it stayed the same way as it is. And so we've got our own pedigree large black pigs, and we're going to be cooking pork chops from them today. So you can see they've got a lovely high fat content on those.
Brilliant.
We sell them out of our little Honesty Box farm shop, and we sell the sausages as well. Now the sausages have got nothing at all to do with the dish today, but Dad and his mate are out ploughing the ground for me, so I said I'd cook them some sausage sandwiches while the barbecue's on.
You're just a giver.
Yeah, I know, Steve, I know.
And also, you do events there too, don't you? Because you and I were due to get together.
We were meant to on yesterday, I think, was it?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do a curing and a pig day, and we were going to cook up half a pig and teach people to cook it and cure it, make bacon.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's all been cancelled, and that's part of the idea why I come up with this virtual food festival idea, because I thought everything's getting cancelled. Courses, demonstrations, you name it. Restaurants are closed, everything's closed, so let's just do it online and kind of try and have some fun at the same time. And
exactly, and we spoke last night as well, and we were talking about how it's terrible for everybody, and I wouldn't ever say that you or I were in a privileged position, but you've got the nous to go online and adapt your business. Not everybody else can do that in such a quick turnaround, can they? Yeah,
I was in a very lucky position that I had my website built by Solve Web Media, who have helped us build a website for this. And we'd had a shop built so people could book online courses.
Yeah.
And so it was all set up for that. But the second that this happened, you could just change the shop to turn it so you could order online veg boxes. So the system was there, it was in place, and I was quite lucky in a way that I didn't then have to pay to have a website built to adjust my business, because my business is 95% restaurant trade.
Yeah.
So I'm one of the suppliers. That's why we're all talking about suppliers. I've got other suppliers I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to promote the meat from our farm, the veggies from our farm. But obviously in London, you're not going to be able to access that, or anywhere around the country. If I can't deliver to you or you can't come to our farm, you can't access it. So hopefully by building up a database of different chefs from around the country, we're going to be able to provide everyone with all the information they need to buy direct from source.
Yeah, brilliant. And have you always had the honesty box, or is that something that you've introduced over the last few weeks?
No, we've had that farm shop set up since last spring, and it's just a little basic converted shipping container with a little annex on the end, and and we just put all our veggies in there and sell. And for the first time ever, I broke my no buy-in policy, so we never buy anything in from anybody else. But these sort of times, this is the hunger gap. This is why the demo that I'm doing today are from what's available right now. Yeah. So we've got spring greens, we've got herbs, we've got wild garlic, which is from the bottom of the farm down by the river, and I didn't grow the capers, but we can pretend I did if you want.
Depends if they're any good.
Yeah, I know. So we broke the no buying policy because people want food. But I'm still sourcing it locally. I'm driving around when I do my deliveries. I'm picking up potatoes from local farmers, cauliflowers from local farmers, and putting them all in my shop so people can access them.
Brilliant, mate. Great. You're making a really lovely network there of brilliance. I love the fact that you described your dish as pork chops and dirty beets. It sounds like a club night in Padstow.
I know, dirty beets. There's nothing seedy about it.
Yeah.
Basically, let's have a look. It's just beetroots. So we're gonna basically burn the outside of them. And then this, in my opinion, is the best way to cook beetroot. Some people say cooking them in a whole thing of salt is the best. This is the best way because you're going to get all these charcoal embers. And what we'll do is we'll drop them in cold water and we'll break that off. And you wait till you see the colour. And so the good story about these beetroots as well, so while we're talking about them, is these are mine that I dug up in autumn.
Yeah.
And to store them, we stored them in sand. So it's a technique called clamping. And you can store beetroots, potatoes, carrots, parsnips, artichokes in sand over winter. And it's something that I've been banging on about. Any event that I do, any pop-up that I do, it's kind of just, the veg doesn't last very long in the ground. Do you want to be trudging through the mud in the middle of winter, putting stuff in sand? You can just go to a nice cool shed and grab it out of. I use those sort of like big, either wine boxes or like fisherman trays and put them in there. And they keep... We actually we did a trial and we kept beetroots in sand for 2 years.
No way.
Yeah.
And they came out fine?
Yeah, absolutely fine. Absolutely.
I love that. That. And I've got visions of you doing that on the back beach in Padstow.
Exactly. Well, you know what? We do use Padstow Sea Sand. That's another local company we can plug while we're plugging the company.
There you go. So you're cooking on the green egg. For those of us that don't have that lovely bit of kit, would a normal barbie do?
Yeah, absolutely fine. Obviously, you wouldn't want to cook dirty beetroots on a gas barbecue. They have to be that. So we got the Cornish Sea Salt. It's another company that I want to plug today because they work very, very closely with me over the last couple of years. And we
love salt, don't we?
Yeah, chefs love salt, don't they? Like, I worked for Rick Stein for over 10 years, and you could put as much salt on something as you wanted. But the second he walks into that kitchen and tastes your food, he'll say, lovely, but needs more salt. And it wouldn't matter if you over-seasoned it. He would tell you every single time. And anyone that works for him that's watching this now will be laughing because they're going to say, that's absolutely right. I think once we actually tried to stitch him up and over-salted something on purpose, and he just tasted it and went, that's bloody lovely. That's what we...
He's the master. He's the master.
Yeah, he's like the Mr. Meat. Oh,
brilliant! Right. And that's an amazing amount of fat, delicious fat. That's where the flavour is. You only get that with a rare breed pig, right?
Yes. So these are from our pedigree large black pigs, and what I'm going to attempt to do, because you need to get this fat rendered down nicely, and you want the rind to have a nice bit of crisp. So ideally, if we can get them kind of up on their ends, first of all. Yeah. And just kind of get it nice and sealed. So we're going to leave them like that for a minute, and then I suppose I'm just going to quickly wash my hands off a minute.
Okay.
So what we're going to add with this is it's a bit like a salsa verde, but let's just call it a spring green salsa. So spring greens are the most in-season thing at the moment. I'd say spring greens, asparagus, and purple sprouting broccoli are the most in-season things. So spring greens aren't just put in a pan and boiling to death. You can make loads with them. Coleslaws are awesome with them. And so we're going to be chopping these up really finely. There goes my spoon. We're going to be serving some wild garlic with them, anchovy, capers, mustard, lemon juice, olive oil, and normally with a sort of salsa you'd add garlic, but we've got the wild garlic. If you haven't got access to wild garlic, replace it with garlic. Let's put the lid down on these I better throw my dad's sausages on, actually.
Yeah, you'd be livid if you don't put them on.
Well, he's out doing my work for me while I'm doing this, so I better look
Well,
after
he must be cursing you. First of all, you nick his shirt, then you forget to cook his lunch. You're in big trouble.
I know. He's been working pretty hard lately for me, because obviously, we've had to completely change how our business runs, like a lot of people have. So instead of planting thousands and thousands of plants all in one go, we're now planting 500 at a time, week by week, and it's actually harder work to do that than just whack thousands in, because we're set up for whacking thousands of plants in at once. So we've had to really adapt how we run this business.
But you have also slightly diversified in the fact that the land that you've got there is amazing. It's the most beautiful part of the country. But as well as the events, you also you started doing weddings as well, didn't you?
Yeah. So Gemma can show you the view again, because some people may have just joined, but we have got a wedding venue out here, and you can see all the details online. So mum and dad can set it up, and we do about 7 weddings a year. I don't know if you can see already, but it's just in that field, just over there. People got a lovely marquee. You've got all those views. You've got access from the front and back. It kind of just, every person that gets married out here kind of can't thank us enough, and it's a nice feeling knowing that people are having their weddings on your farm.
Yeah, it's great. It's nice because quite often, farms sometimes to the general public seem off limits and closed, and you're different than that.
I think now is, I'm not saying to start trespassing, but now is the time more than ever to be going to if you live near farms, is to be going to your local farms and asking what they've got. I know some cauliflower growers that don't go online. They don't have websites. They don't have Instagram. They've got none of this. And don't be afraid to ask them. New potatoes will be ready. Broad beans will be ready. Cauliflowers, purple sprouting. I think, if you're going to, I don't want to get in trouble with the old HMRC here, but if you've got a farmer and he's got some purple sprouting and you're going to buy a couple of kilo off him for a few quid, he's going to be absolutely delighted. And we've all got to just work together.
I think so. And do you think your style of cooking has changed as you've sort of grown with your other business of being a producer?
Well, it kind of has. I'm just putting some anchovies in now.
Okay.
But when you cook for over 10 years, your food is always going to slightly mirror what you learned under Rick. It's that rusticness. You're never going to watch me kind of really finely chiffonading a basil leaf down. I'm always going to be a lot more of a kind of, rustic element to things.
But I think people warm to that, don't you?
Yep. I'm going to say that we've nearly got enough on those pork chops.
Okay.
So we have
I'm going to... yeah, nice. Ross, I'm just going to try something, and hopefully I don't mess it up. I'm going to see see if there's any questions coming in from our virtual festival goers. Okay, Bob?
Yeah, go for it, mate.
Health for Life Juices Plus says hi to Borage. Whenever Borage comes on screen, nobody else gets a look in.
Borage is much. Shall I get Borage a minute?
Yeah.
Shall I get Borage? Borage, come here. So sit down.
We've got a question.
Sit down.
We've got a question from our old.
Sorry, Steve. This is the beautiful Borage, just so everyone can see. She's how old? She, Jem?
A year.
Yeah, she's just over a year old, Australian Shepherd. She grew up on the farm, so this is her little hub. But I better not touch her because we're touching food. You know what people are like.
Yes, I know. That's nicely played. Hi to Boris. We just gained 20,000 viewers. I've got a question from my old mucker, Luke Holder from Limewood Hotel. works alongside Angela. He wants to know what's the best way to preserve fresh vegetables.
The best way to preserve fresh vegetables? Well, there's this new invention called a fridge, and you can put stuff in there, and it lasts for ages. Fresh. So let's talk about pickling and preserving. And this is another conversation that I've had with Jack and some of the other suppliers, is about what's going to happen when I have a huge glut if the restaurants aren't open in time. So we need to really start thinking about making kimchis, making pickled red cabbages, making whatever we can, not just to sell in my shop, but should the farmers be looking at a way to, it's going to cost a little bit of money, develop a little production kitchen to vac pack stuff down in large amounts. So when these restaurants open, we've got actual products, but you need to be working with the chefs, because Jack's not just going to buy my kimchi if it's my recipe and I've just made it up and I think it's cool. Me and Jack are going to have to work together online to get this kimchi recipe right. I'll have to post it to him because I can't be too close to him. He can taste it. He'll probably tell me it needs more salt. But I think this is the way, like, going forward, it's about how can we keep our businesses running. And I think that preserving, pickling, the clamping that I've already spoke about is definitely the way forward. And try not to...
Yeah, I mean, we as chefs, people are following, as a producer, you're following the seasons, but with techniques like that, those kind of really old methods, a bit like charcuterie for me as well, which is my passion, it is slightly cheating the seasons, but in a kind of ethical way.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Like the polytunnel, Gemma can show you the polytunnel, if you like. That is what's used for cheating the seasons. So we'll have a look at, we're going the polytunnel now, and we'll have a look at a crop I've got in there. And this, unless you had an amazing walled garden very far south, you probably wouldn't have. So these here, radish, and you can see. Let's have a look. Nearly ready. Give that will literally take 1 week. That'll be ready.
Amazing.
And so we've got these little radishes. We've got mustard leaves, lettuce leaves. Gemma planted all these by hand, actually. And then over here we've got a big bed of mustard leaves, which is all started to go to seed. But the beauty about the mustard leaves is once they start, you use them as a stir fry. We don't want to. So these are basically classed as an Asian green, really. Just stir fry them. It's absolutely roasting in this.
Yeah, that's a brilliant tip. Yeah, that's a brilliant tip. Letting things bolt and grow and using them because the flavour's still there. What's that you're drinking?
I don't drink olive oil. So the man for the olive oil is going to be José. So when José Pizarro is on this afternoon, he's going to be the one who's going to tell us the best place to access olive oil from, I reckon.
José's on at 1.
He's on next. He's going to be the man to tell us where we need to be getting it. So in this salsa, we've got mint, parsley, spring greens, capers, Dijon mustard. We're going to squeeze some lemon juice in there, and this all has to be really rustically chopped. And this sort of salsa goes with so many things. It goes with fish. It goes with fish. Goes with meat. And what I'm going to do in a second is I'm going to get the dirty beetroots out, and we can have a look at them. You can see the pork chops are starting to get a bit of nice colour on them. Now, the thing because obviously you're an expert in pigs, Steve. You know your stuff when it comes to pork, and the beauty of having your own pork and knowing exactly where it comes from. And this is a little bit naughty because you shouldn't advise people to do this. Is I know I can have mine ever so slightly undercooked. Yeah. And I'm not saying go and buy chops from a source you don't know and undercook them because I'll end up getting in trouble. But you can have them just a little bit under, which
blushing,
is
blushing pink. Yeah, I think it's about provenance, isn't it, Ross, and knowing where it's from and high welfare. And I guess, the more you know about the product and get to know the person who's producing it, the more confidence you can have in that.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got the beetroots coming out.
What we don't get with this is we get the amazing visual, but I imagine that the smell and the flavour that's coming off of those is really amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is. This is my favourite place in the world to cook.
Yes.
In they go. So in goes the first one. And you break off all that hard embers, but you leave a few on.
Let's have a close-up of that.
We're left with this. So we want a little bit of ember still on, so we've got so it adds a bit of bitterness. Yeah. You take off the majority. You can already see that colour. It's looking really, really nice. So next one going in. This one's really, really embered. And you can see where it's breaking off. But the tip is, even if you boil beetroot in, you should always cook beetroot with its skin on, always. And even if you boil it, because you haven't got access to this, dropping it in cold water just helps the skin to come off.
Yeah. I really like the way that chefs use adjectives to describe things that are burnt. And I think that your next book ought to be called Embered.
Embered, yeah. Well, I can't, because there's a pizza restaurant in Padstow called Embers. So
you're joking?
Yeah, there is.
Is it good?
I don't look like I'm copying them.
You've always been a pioneer, a leader.
Yeah, I know. So, Steve, should we talk about suppliers and people that we can help, other people that aren't just me?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you're kind of unique in this whole scenario, Ross, because you're a kind of supplier, producer and chef. You kind of encapsulate the whole network. But you're absolutely right. I mean, the whole idea that you came up with this, and Jack and everybody else seemed to follow, was to support the industry because, you know, these are the people who really help the industry run and tick over. They've got parity. They've got an equal amount of importance. And you're down in the southwest, so am I. You're a bit further along in Cornwall. And we both live in really vibrant foodie communities, which I'm sure are replicated up and down the country. And we just need ways of trying to support these people.
Yeah, and the people that I'm worried about are the ones that, as I've already said earlier, are the ones that don't have the major access online and the Instagram. And these are the people that I'm kind of shouting out to now while we're live. And if anyone's got a friend or a relative of a business that's been affected because of this, if our chefs can help them in any way, that's exactly what this online festival is all about. And you know, because we've got the website virtualfoodfestival.org. You can contact us through there, get in touch with me or Jack, and if we can, you know, we feel a bit bad because we rushed this together so fast that we've managed to miss people out. You know, we've missed some friends and we've missed some suppliers. But if this continues, if Virtual Food Festival kicks off, you know, we're going to be able to help everyone, and that's kind of what the idea was about. It isn't about so much helping ourselves; it's about helping other people.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a brilliant platform, a very generous platform for supporting those people. And I think, you know, everybody can see that it's a little bit rough around the edges, what we're doing. And that's purely because of the energy that went into creating it. Oh, my life, that's an amazing colour, Ross.
Yeah, so look at these. And with that slight, you know, let's not mess around with the word burnt. With that slight burnt bit on the end, that's exactly what we want, because you're going to have the sweet, earthy flavour of the beetroot, you know, and then we've got that. And then I would normally, if I was doing this without the salsa, I would normally do a little dish where I'd put lots of parsley on it, possibly some rose water. There's another Rick Stein dish, actually. I need to stop stealing his dishes. But because we've got this salsa to go over, that will be enough to kind of cut through the earthiness of these dirty beets. So I'm just going to start plating it up. I'm going to save one pork chop for my dad, all right? So that one's on the pile with the sausages.
One for porridge.
Yeah, I was a bit worried that porridge was going to jump up and try and nick a pork chop, actually. Right.
Is that a portion for one?
This is a feast style, so this is what I want you all to be doing with your families while you're stuck at home. I want you to be cooking and just serving it up on the table, and everyone just tuck in and enjoy it, basically. So we've got the spring green, wild garlic, salsa. But I wouldn't put too much on right away because of the strength of it, and then add more after when you come to eat. We get some of the juice out. Here we are. So I give that a little tidy up. Hopefully you can see it. Try and get out of my own shadow. Hopefully you can see the kind of nice colours. And apart from obviously essential things like olive oil and whatnot, everything there is from our farm.
Brilliant. Ross, what an amazing dish. And what are you drinking with your dish?
Yes, that's what we need to talk about next. So I'm drinking Haywood Farm Cider, who I believe is going to come on live after me. And you can order these boxes. I'll let him tell you all about it in a minute,
okay,
right?
All right.
But I do have to give one shout out that isn't related to the farm and to other producers. My brother and his wife in West Australia, and my nieces and nephews that I know are watching it. And, they're in hard times as well. And I just, wish them all the best. And, and I know that they're watching and they've got all their friends to watch. So we know we've got Aussies watching it.
Yeah, amazing. Well, of course, Rick came live to us from Sydney. So, yeah, it is a time to reach out, isn't it, you big softie?
Yeah, I know. It is. And this is what it's making everybody think differently about life, about what we're eating, about where our produce is coming from. And that's where this festival is really going to come into its own.
Brilliant. Well, what an amazing dish you put together there, Ross. And what a pleasure seeing your legs out in the sunshine.